All right. So, welcome to my no BS guide for getting jacked in 2024. So, this is going to be a guide. I'm going to teach you how to get jacked from wherever starting point you're at, whether you're obese, whether you're skinny fat, or just skinny. We're going to go over body types, all of it. And I'm going to do it in the most simplest way possible so that you understand it and you can replicate uh, the things that you learn in this little PowerPoint I put together to get jacked in 2024. It's going to be no BS guide, straight to the point, simple, easy to understand, right? So before we jump into this little presentation that I put for you guys, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Hit that like button, like this shit up, and yeah, let's get into this. So, full step, no BS guide to getting jacked in 2024. So, a little bit about me. I went from skinny to jacked, right? I made the transformation. I've done it for myself as well as helped other people do the same, right? So, I can teach you a thing or two about getting jacked, right? Let's keep going. So, which one are you right now? So, there's three bodies. You got to understand, like, you got to understand where you're starting from. So maybe you're someone who's overweight. You're over 20% body fat percentage, right? Maybe you're skinny fat. Maybe you're skinny. You got a little bit of a gut. You got a bit of a dad bod. You got the classic dad bod going, right? Like a skinny dad bod kind of going on. Or maybe you're just struggling to gain weight, right? And you're really skinny. You're a hard gainer type of thing. So you got to understand where your starting point is, like which one are you right now, and what you got to kind of understand, what are your fitness goals. Like, are you someone who's I don't know, someone who's obese? Are you skinny fat? Are you just struggling to gain weight? Like, are you like a twig? Like, you got to figure out which one are you. And that brings us to our next point, is you got to understand your body type, right? So much like the slide you just saw before, you got to understand that there's three different body types. I noticed these days in the whole fitness industry, nobody really talks about body types. At least I don't really see anyone talk about body types that much anymore. Sorry, I take a little sip there. But there's three different body types. So, for example, as you saw on the previous slide, the really skinny guy would be like the ectomorph hard gainer. This is someone who literally pisses out calories. Right? This is someone who really struggles to gain a lot of calories, struggle to put on muscle. They'll eat, but like they just won't. They just have a hard time gaining. And then you got the mesomorph. The mesomorph is kind of like in the middle. This is usually the athletic kind of mesomorphs. Like usually mesomorphs tend to uh, be more athletic if they do indulge in like sports and stuff like that. They don't have a hard time putting on muscle. They're like the perfect mesomorphs are those guys that like really get jacked. If you're a mesomorph, you are a lucky bastard. Um, then there's the endomorphs. These guys struggle to lose weight. They put on weight really easily. Struggle to like I said before, lose weight. Big boned. Um, Usually gain weight really quickly. Tend to be more obese. Right. You can see how these body types correlate with these uh, bodies that I just showed you here. Like, for example, this would be like the endomorph, and then ectomorph, um, and then this could be an ecto. I don't know. This could be a bit of like a mesomorph, maybe like some mesomorphs. Like mesomorphs are not always athletic. I feel like mesomorphs are more like athletic if they're like actually doing sports. If they're like a mesomorph who leads like a shitty lifestyle, that they're gonna look like this, like the skinny fat kind of deal. But you also got to keep in mind that body types, you can be more than one thing, right? So you might not always be like just an ectomorph. Like you could be like for example, I would like to say I'm a mixture of both of these. Like I'm a mixture of like an ectomorph and a mesomorph, right? I'm like kind of in between these guys, because in high school I grew up like throughout my childhood I grew up like skinny, but I was also very athletic. Like I was a basketball player. I could dunk. I could run really fast. I did track. I did soccer. I was quick, right? But when I started my like fitness journey and stuff, I struggled to put on mass still. Like I had to eat a lot to put on mass. I still found it a little bit of a struggle. Like I find like even now, if I miss a couple meals and stuff, I start to revert back to being ectomorph, right? Some people can be a meso-endo. You know, some you might be a mixture of mesomorph and endomorph. You might be athletic, but you find that you gain uh, weight quicker in certain areas. Like these are like you know like those linebackers, like those football player linebackers. Like that's you'll see that a lot of times with those guys, right? But I think we talked enough about body types. I think you're starting to get an idea of where you fit on this spectrum, right? Maybe if you're, you know, endomorph, you struggle to lose weight. You're a bit big boned. When you eat, you just gain pounds like that. Mesomorph, you're kind of in the middle. You know, it's kind of like you are what you do type of thing, right? Like if you're a mesomorph who's athletic, you're gonna see the benefits. You're gonna look athletic, be athletic. If you're someone who's not really into sports, you're a mesomorph. You might end up like skinny fat. Could be an ectomorph. Ectomorphs could be skinny fat as well. Struggle to put on some muscle, really skinny. Yeah, so I think you guys get the gist there. And we go into diet. So, what I want to talk about with diet is yeah, once you understand your diet, once you understand your body type, it'll be easier to figure out how to eat and train. So, now that we figured out what kind of body type you are, right? You want to make sure, so for building muscle, for example, you want to be eating 1 pound. Did I make a type here? 1 pound of protein. Yeah, 1 pound of protein per body weight. Right. Some will say 0.7. Some will say like 0.5. Like everybody's in this whole fitness industry says something different, but I think good rule of thumb, as close as you can to 1 pound per body weight. So, for example, maybe you're 1.6, you weigh 160, then you would eat 160 pounds uh, no, sorry, 160 grams of protein. So moving on. So to find out what your maintenance calories are, you know, you can ask Google, you can ask ChatGPT, you can ask ChatGPT. So so what you want to do to find your maintenance calories is so for example, say for example, how I did it was say for example, you know, you're 160 pounds. You go into Google and say, Google, I'm 160 pounds. How much do I need to eat a day to gain weight? And then you search that up and it will tell you. Or ask Google, Google, I'm 160 pounds. How much do I need to eat to lose weight? And it will tell you. Or how much do I need to maintain? And it will tell you. And yeah, you can even ask ChatGPT. It's probably the easier way with AI now. And bulking, cutting. Before I want to talk about yeah, so bulking or cutting, eat in a surplus, cut, calorie deficit. But before we get into this, we might come back to this slide because I feel like this slide will make more sense to you guys. I feel like I should have rearranged these slides, maybe made this one first. But now that we figured out your body type and what kind of body type you have, I would say the next thing is figuring out what process makes sense for you. So, for example, if you're, you know, endomorph and you're obese right now, you're over 20% body fat, you know, the best solution for you is probably to be in a calorie deficit because it just makes sense to. Or if you're skinny fat, I would just say be in maintenance calories. And if you're skinny, bulk, right? If you're trying to put on muscle. In this, but if you're looking to start your fitness journey in the year of 2024, you're trying to get jacked, you're not really sure how, and you need help, and you need that one-on-one support to make sure your fitness goals become a reality. I'm the guy for that. I can help you with that. Make sure you hit that link in the description, book a one-on-one coaching call, and we'll see if it makes sense to work together to reach your fitness goals for the year of 2024. You only got 4 months left. Let's tap in. Let's make this shit a reality. With that being said, hope you enjoy the rest of the video. And I think on the next slide, we're going to talk about newbie gains, right? So the thing about newbie gains is when you're a new lifter, your body just kind of like does some weird things. Like you end up kind of like it gets easy. It's easier to build muscle in the beginning because the newbie gains kind of like it kind of rewards you for like working out. Like how do I explain this in a way that you understand? It's like it's weird because when you experience body recomposition, you'll like lose fat and gain muscle at the same time because it's a new experience that your body is experiencing, and you'll notice that you'll make gains quicker. That's why you see a lot of guys within 6 months they just get absolutely jacked, right? Shout out Wolverine or Deadpool. That was a good movie, by the way. So I had to pull up the slide. But yeah, if that's why and that's why it's really important. Like in the next side, consistency and building a solid foundation. So because of those newbie gains, you want to like maximize like working out. Like you want to be consistent with it for like 5 times a week, five to 3 times a week for like 6 months. You're gonna go from zero to hero. Like because if the newbie gains are kicking in, you're going to see the most growth that you will in your entire fitness journey in your first I think it's 2 to 3 years of lifting. And you're going to see like a tremendous amount of progress if you're doing the right things and you're consistent. You're going to see and your genetics do play a role in this too. The better genetics you have, the better. But you're going to see some really great results. You want to build that solid foundation in your first couple of years of lifting and just be consistent with it because you will see the benefit. You will see the fruits of your labor. And if I go back to this slide, see body recomp is like it's fair game for all three of these body types, right? Like you can lose weight and gain fat at the same time, right? But when in your fitness journey, you still want to have like a direct approach of what you do. So for example, if you're like overweight and you're obese, don't go don't prioritize both. You obviously want to be in a calorie deficit because you're trying to lose weight. And you can still build muscle in a calorie deficit, right? As long as your protein intake is high. And as long as the newbie gains are kicking in, you'll notice like you'll actually gain like some muscle in the process while losing weight, right? The biggest mistake this guy makes though, the obese guy, the overweight guys, they only focus on cardio, but you should be weightlifting as well because weightlifting will also help burn those calories, and you'll build muscle too at the in the process. With maintenance calories, with the skinny fat guy, this guy usually tends to want to go on a cut for some reason. When honestly, I think they should just stay at. It depends how skinny fat you are. If you're like skinny fat and you're like borderline, like look kind of obese, then maybe go on a deficit, slight calorie deficit. Again, you can Google this. You can Google like, okay, how much calories do I need to be in a deficit, right? Go 200 under your maintenance calories, and then pretty much go from there and see where you're at. Once you're at a spot where you're like okay, like then you can prioritize going on a bulk again. But if you're like skinny fat, I would like be in like maintenance calories and let body recomp do its thing. And with all three of these, I'm assuming like you're like a new lifter in terms of like body recomposition because I think that's one of the prerequisites. I think it's is the only way to like lose weight and gain muscle at the same time is if you like body recomposition. I think it's if either you're on steroids, you're a new lifter, and I can't remember what the third thing was. But yeah, but always keep in mind that you want to prioritize one over the other. So whether it's losing weight, prioritize that. Whether it's building muscle or gaining muscle or putting on more weight, prioritize that. So someone who's in a someone who's skinny, who's bulking, prioritize bulking, right? That's going to be your main priority because I mean when you're not you're not gonna want to put on like sorry, you're not gonna want to lose weight because you're like there is no weight to like there's no weight to lose, so you're gonna want to bulk. Mainly for this skinny fat guy, like I would say, like it depends where you are. Like if you're like kind of skinny fat obese, prioritize maybe like losing weight more than putting on muscle. And then once you're at a spot where you feel like okay, like I look pretty good, then maybe you can be in maintenance for a little bit and then jump on a bulk, right? You kind of got to play it by ear and see where your body's at. Anything. I'm hoping this is all making sense for you guys. So yeah. So in my opinion, the ideal physique right now, I feel like, is that it's not like to look like. Let me just move my stuff here. It's not like to look like a Chris Bumstead kind of person. You know what I mean? You're not trying to look like you're competing in a bodybuilder comp, but you want to look like you see how these guys they still look like they work out, but they've got that kind of like that boxer kind of like that superhero physique where it's like you're jacked, but you're not like bodybuilder jacked. You're like at a good you're at a good um body fat percentage, like a 10 to 15% body fat, but you've got some size to you where it looks like you're a menace, right? So the goal, in my opinion, is to look like you're a menace, but like also lean at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, because these guys, they're all pretty jacked, but they're not like bodybuilder jacked, but they're like you could tell, like, okay, these guys are pretty aesthetic. They look pretty aesthetic. Most of these guys, I'm not even sure if they're all natural. I just kind of like. Here's the thing: I chose these photos because I thought they were like a good representation of the physique I'm kind of trying to talk about. But also keep in mind that with a lot of these celebrities, you're not going to look exactly like the celebrity that you like idolize. You like. I remember I was watching Greg. He said this thing where it's like you want to go, you want to. How did he say it? I'm paraphrasing you, but he says you don't want to try and look like your favorite celebrity, but like somewhere halfway there, kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's kind of the saying where it's like aim for the moon and land somewhere on the stars, kind of concept. Okay, so I want to talk about progressive overload and time under tension. This is the most important. Like, make sure you're paying attention. This is the most important part of your fitness journey, arguably, right? Quoting Greg said, train harder than last time. So with progressive overload and time and attention, you want to make sure you're lifting heavy. Man, I feel like I got a lisp or something because I keep messing up my words sometimes. But you want to lift heavy. Make sure you increase the weight each time you work out. So, for example, if you're lifting, I don't know, 20-pound dumbbells, you don't want to be lifting 20-pound dumbbells for the duration of your whole fitness journey. You want to be moving weights up regularly, at least like one, like try to push yourself. Try to like maybe if you're doing 20 pounds last week, let's try and move up to 30 pounds. If you can't, that's where the time under tension comes in there. Make sure you perform the exercise slow and controlled, right? If you find that you're not strong enough to move on to the 30-pound dumbbell, keep doing the 20-pound dumbbell, but maybe try doing it more slower and controlled so that you actually feel that burn, like you feel like you're pushing yourself, so that then eventually you can move on to 30-pound, and from 30-pound you go to 40-pound, so on and so forth. It's all about pushing yourself. By the way, I forgot to mention, if you're looking to get jacked in the year of 2024 and you need help doing that and you're not quite sure where to start or you need a personalized plan, I'm the guy for that. I can help you with that. Click the link in the description to book a one-on-one coaching call, and we'll see if it makes sense to work together to reach your fitness goals for the year of 2024 and making sure you reach that next level. That's the only way you're going to grow, right? The biggest mistake a lot of people make, and I personally made this mistake, is that once they get too comfortable, they end up like for example, like when I got really comfortable in my fitness journey, like I got to a point where I'm like, I don't know, I'm like curling 45. And then I would stay at 45 for like months and months and months because I feel like, oh, I've already made it. No, you want to keep on pushing, want to keep on going farther, right? Find different ways to push yourself. If you find more different ways to push yourself, you're going to grow inevitably, right? I think that's much what I got to say on this slide. Next slide. So, like I said, like I feel like I should have moved this slide a little bit earlier, but the whole V taper physique is what's the most aesthetic looking. Let me read this. Aesthetic looking. Like I feel like this guy. I should have just used this guy's photo because he's like a really good example of like a good aesthetic physique. You see how he's got. I don't know who this guy is, but I just found it on Google when I was looking for examples of what the perfect physique would look like for you guys to show. But you see how he's got like that V. He's got a nice chest. He's got a nice chest too. But you see how he's got. So I want to talk about the V taper as well. See, the V taper is how you have a triangular kind of look to you, right? Even in evolutionary psychology, they say that the triangular shape look is the most attractive in in terms of like mating and like female attraction, right? So when it comes to the triangular shape, you want to make sure you're maximizing your shoulders and your lats. See, when you bring your shoulders, see how his shoulders just bridge out and it makes him look wider? That's all shoulders, right? The shoulders and the lats is like the foundation of building that cake, of building the cake, right? Imagine you're building a cake, like it's like the base, the foundation. It's like it's the bread in the inside, right? Everything else is icing. Biceps, the chest, legs, arms, like triceps, whatever. That's all icing. Abs, that's all icing. Like the shoulders and the lats, that's your foundation of building a cake, right? Think about like you're baking a cake. The foundation of the cake is going to be the shoulders and the lats. See how the shoulders bring him out and makes him look wider, and the lats is what's going to taper him in, creating that V illusion, right? That's I truly believe that the shoulders and your lats is what separates you from having a great physique and a mid physique. That's what's gonna really transform your physique. Like that's make or break. I honestly believe the shoulders and your lats are make or break. That's gonna make you look absolutely jacked, right? So let's talk about shoulders first. So your shoulders, type of workouts that you would want to do. So for shoulders, for example, some type of shoulder shrug to build your traps up, and then you want to do some kind of like, because you got to understand there's three parts of the shoulder. There's the front, uh and then rear delt, and I can't remember what the side ones are called, but you want to be making sure you're working out all three. So you want to do something like some shoulder, some front raises. So you take two dumbbells, maybe take two dumbbells, do like one of those front raises, and then you want to maybe do take some dumbbells, do some side raises, or doing like what do you call those? The cable. I'm probably butchering the name for this word. The cable raises. I really don't remember the names for a lot of these workouts. I just do them, and I just don't remember the names for them. But you wanna do like the side ones, the side raises with one of the cable machines, and also for your lats, I want to emphasize pull ups. Pull ups for your lats. You want to do pull ups. This is what's going to create an insane back. I'm telling you, like, do your pull ups. And then once you move on to weighted pull ups, oh, it's game. It's game. Your lats are going to be insane. Right, master pull ups, lat pull downs. There's a lot of different lower back exercises you could do, but pull ups and lat pull downs will definitely do the trick to build that V taper. All right. Next is the chest. Gonna move on to the icing of the cake. So the chest is what's gonna pop out. It's one of your show muscles. Right. Personally, what I did to grow my chest was I used like push-ups was really good for building the chest. I found like I noticed more progress in my chest doing push-ups than I did doing like bench press and stuff. Like you can still do bench press and all that stuff, but push-ups is really gonna help there. Dips is really gonna help as well, especially if you're like um if you're on the endomorph side and you got a little bit of, or even if you're like skinny fat and you got a little bit of man boobs, dips is really gonna help. That is gonna help with those your bottom pecs right there. It's gonna help get rid of those man boobs. Also, you got to keep in mind diet also does play a role in this. So like eating cleaner, and not eating like junk, snacky, kind of like bullshit food is really what's going to help build this that lower chest. And then cable flies, so doing your upper chest, especially if you're wearing like a polo shirt and you want to have your pecs showing, like you want to hit your cable flies, like the upward ones. You see how he's doing in this little photo here, right? And the downward ones as well. If you really want to try to target uh, those lower pecs, get rid of those man boobs, right? And arms, show muscles. You know what they say: big arms win every argument. I don't make the rules. That's just the way it is. But yeah, big arms. What I did in my beginning of the fitness, the in the beginning, I'm getting ahead of myself here. In the beginning of my fitness journey, I focused on an arm day. So I would split it out. But to be fair, back when I didn't know what I was doing, I would only do arms. But I saw a lot of growth in my arms at that time when I first started. So I would even recommend like dedicating a day to just focusing on arms to grow them. That works for some people, right? If you're someone struggling to grow your arms, if you want to have big arms, the one thing you really want to focus on is your triceps because triceps actually take up 2/3 of your arm. So you really want to focus on instead of focusing on your biceps, focus on your triceps because that's what's gonna bring that shit out. Like you want to do stuff like tricep pull downs, skull crushers, and it's maybe some kind of like superset type of thing going on. Like I don't think it matters what tricep workouts you're doing. Just make sure you're maximizing triceps. Like you're really going in on that shit. And for your biceps, cross body hammer curls are really good. It helps train that brachialis muscle, right? Make sure bicep looks wider from front facing, and then you want to do some maybe like a preacher curl is also really good. But yeah, most of your focus is going to be going towards your triceps to maximize that arm growth. And then we're going to talk about cardio. Cardio is a very interesting one, right? So cardio, you want to make sure first things first. Yeah, you want to make sure cardio is something that's fun for you to do because I find personally people well, I don't know. Depends on the person. Most people do better with cardio when they're doing cardio that's actually fun and engaging. You want to make cardio fun, like maybe it's playing soccer or playing basketball or something that's fun for you. And make sure you're like, yeah, like make sure it's fun for you, but also like mix it up a little bit, you know? Like sometimes maybe one day you play basketball and then one day you do treadmill, maybe one day you're sprinting. Like mix it up or jump rope, right? By the way, sprinting is something I'm exploring right now personally. Like I've started adding sprinting to my routine and I'm starting to notice like the benefits. Like I feel like it makes you a lot more leaner and it makes the muscles like pop out more because you get that lean effect, but it also makes it like pop out. Like if you look at all these sprinters, look how jacked these guys are. These guys almost look like bodybuilders at this point, right? And I feel like sprinting because if you compare a sprinter, and I should have brought a picture here of a long distance runner so you guys get the idea. But if you compare a sprinter to a long distance runner, they on average look more jacked, right? So I would say maybe if you're like really obese and stuff, I wouldn't like recommend sprinting right off the bat. Like wait till you get to like a certain like uh, body weight because I feel like when you're like already really obese, like your joints and stuff, like sprinting may not be the best in the beginning. Maybe start with like a steady state cardio, like a stairmaster, something like that, and then once you get to a certain weight, then you can start sprinting to really accelerate the process. But yeah, like I said, ideally you want to make cardio fun in order for you to keep doing it long term. So mix it up, right? Mix it up if you want to find a way to make it sustainable for your journey, right? Legs and abs, right? In this area, I'm personally still trying to work on this. But what I have found so far in my journey is that, by the way, don't skip legs. In the beginning, don't skip legs because then you're going to be playing catch up. Remember when I talked about earlier with build, oh, whoops, building that solid foundation? Make sure you build that foundation earlier. right? Because then you're gonna end up playing catch up with your legs. You want to make sure you're consistent with everything. Make sure you're working out everything, right? With that being said, where are we? Okay, legs. So personally, what I found is the past 1 to 2 years I've been working on legs consistently. I stopped skipping as much leg days. Leg days are just not as fun for me. I don't know why, but it's just one of those things. It's like eating your vegetables before you do dessert. But legs, genetics do play a huge role in growing your calves and stuff, but it's still not an excuse for why your legs are like excruciatingly small. So I found things like yeah, like doing legs like twice a week and doing like calves, especially calves. Those were really hard for me to grow. Doing calves like twice a week help. But I found recently, like since I started doing sprinting and started doing like more running and actually using my legs in a way that pushes them, I've gotten a lot of comments of people saying that my legs gotten bigger. Right, so you want to be doing things that push your legs, right? Obviously, do have a certain routine for your legs and all that stuff, but I think adding like a sport, playing a sport, or doing some kind of sprint work will definitely help uh, bring on that leg growth. And then as for abs, that is another area that I'm personally working on right now. And I found for me, like doing like instead of spamming all these like um, Instagram swipe through workout type of deal things, like I find doing weighted ab workouts has helped me personally to accelerate my abs and just eating more clean. It's all about diet. Like I feel like there's a camp of people that say you already have abs. You just gotta like eat. You just gotta like lose weight and eat cleaner. And there's the people that say you have to build your abs. I think it's both. It's both made in the kitchen, and I think you have to actually build them as well. So both eating a diet that is like, well, maintaining healthy eating habits and also just making sure you're training your that's another thing too. Right now I'm starting to train my abs as if I train my other muscles. So remember the time under tension, progressive overload. I treat them the same way like I treat my biceps, right? They need time to recover. They need time to there's a time they need time to recover. There's a time when you work on them, push them, break those muscle fibers, and then grow them. Right. And also, yeah, just eating a lot better. But I think that brings us to the end of our presentation here. So hopefully this all made sense and you're able to take the tools from this to get jacked in the next 4 months. Hopefully this made sense. Hopefully I gave you some clarity depending on your body type and how you're built, what you need to focus on and what you need to do to get in shape. But yeah, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. And remember, I do one-on-one coaching calls, so make sure you book a coaching session with me if you want to work with me personally to reach your fitness goals for the rest of the year of 2024. And yeah, what else am I missing? Remember, there's nothing enlightening about playing small. And I will catch you guys in the next video. I will see you guys later.